Okay. Looks like we in the house. Free Coaching Friday starting right now. I'm not sure if this is going live everywhere it's supposed to. I'm gonna try to share this joint to a few of the other places. You gotta love technology, baby. I want to invite everybody to share this with another. Give me a replay, gang, if you're watching the replay, especially if you're watching on YouTube. Right now, I got an affinity for our YouTube family because we're trying to get the channel kind of like more moving in a positive direction. I really believe like if you help entrepreneurs, you're helping civilization. I feel like we the ones that push mankind forward, you know? And I just feel like if we all just had a place where we could come together and share knowledge with each other and kind of like grow our intellect and our ability to see patterns, we'll all win, right? That's all intelligence is at the end of the day. Ain't nothing but pattern recognition. Right? Think about that. It's check-in time. Where you from? Let them know where you from. We do this every Friday. Free Coaching Friday. Yeah, welcome, Nicole. Welcome, I'm glad you're here. Mr. Terry in the house. Yeah, man, I'll see you in a little while. I'll see you in a couple, man. Young Coco in the house. What I'm talking about. My man Ronald Bryant checking in. Kerman Wingfield is up in here. Yachty in the house. What's up? I'm going to go ahead and call in on this live line so we can get this party started. All right.
You're in the right place at the right time because we're going to bring the millionaire out of you. Just hold on.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
What kind of business do you have?
Yourself. All participants are muted. Entry and exit tones are off. All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
All right, y'all. Good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope everybody's feeling incredible this morning. I know I am. It's time for Communication Pro, baby, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, what I want to say is that even if you aren't able to make it to Communication Pro, don't worry, man. Your millionaire-minded family is there. And what I'm going to challenge a bunch of them to do is go live. I want them to take such good notes that you're going to have good content to go live. When you go live with some of the stuff you learned this weekend, you're going to be able to cut this into 60-second videos. If you hear me, somebody let me see in the comments, 60-second videos, 60-second videos. Somebody write that in the comments. We're in a new world, y'all. You can record some 60-second videos, load them bad boys up to your stories on Instagram. You can load them bad boys up on your main page. You can load them bad boys up on your TikTok. Somebody say 60-second videos. 60-second videos. My man TJD in this joint. All right. 60-second videos. That's right. 60-second videos. Leah, what's up? Good morning, Queen. Mama Mahasin up in here. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, then. Exodus. Man, there's a Bob Marley joint you got to use whenever you go live, Shalonda. You can't do it so much that everybody can hear the song and they start getting mad at you. But you gotta rock that Bob Marley Exodus joint. All right, 60-second videos. That's right. So what I'm saying is all this weekend, all you're going to do is take notes with the idea of not only learning, but also being able to share what it is we're doing. 60-second videos, Keontae. 60-second videos. That's right. All right, y'all. So it's Free Coaching Friday. Y'all know we do this based on the revenue acceleration cycle. I want to invite you to unmute yourself. I can go through the revenue acceleration cycle if y'all want, or, you know, we can get right into it. Since it's already 7:33 and our time is precious. We millionaires, baby. So *6 will unmute your line. Or you can type your comment in the questions. While y'all are getting your questions together, what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to go ahead and get this party started. All right, here we go. All right, now I got us cracking on Clubhouse too. That took a minute. All right, so good morning, millionaires. Let's get it. All right, my man Keontae checking in on Clubhouse. All right, so now we in action. That's right, Dennis. Mr. and Mrs. Thicklin coming through. Okay, so *6 will unmute your line. What you can do is either unmute your line by *6, or you can put your questions in the comments. That's right, it's action time. Yeah, shouts out to Antoinette. Home health business. I love that. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll kind of start this thing off kind of talking about the revenue acceleration cycle. But this is like I'm talking to all my millionaire minded. I'm talking to all my Kaizenites. What did you experience this week that was interesting? Did you try anything new? Did you go through any of the techniques that we covered? Right? Because we covered quite a bit. If you've been with us all week, it's been a fun ride, right? Yesterday we covered 5 nighttime habits for entrepreneurs. Wednesday we talked about 8 traits that predict success and how intelligence ain't one of them. On Tuesday we talked about 7 steps to being able to network anywhere. That's a really important video to rewatch, since today, you know, some of you are at a networking event. Because it tells you how you can not only network with each other, but also with the hotel staff, etc. There's a lot of power. This weekend's also going to offer you a lot of opportunity to do dual videos where you're going live with somebody else. Those are always really interesting to watch. And you have the power to do that. So that's another one I'd watch. And then on Monday, we talked about 5 ways to stay motivated, even when you feel like quitting. So it's been a really interesting week. But good morning, millionaire. *6 will unmute your line. Tell us your name, what kind of business you have, and then what's your question this morning? Yeah, good morning, Chef D.
Good morning, millionaire. Can you hear me?
Hey, good morning, millionaire. Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Great morning. This is Teresa from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Good morning,
And
Teresa.
I have good morning. I have a travel and networking business. What I network, well, sorry, I have a travel and marketing business. And what I market, of course, is travel. And this week, I really, well, I like to first say thank you to Crystal and to Michael Douglas, because last night we were on the Kaizen Lab, and they both were very helpful. So it was an awesome experience. So I thank both of them for their assistance. But what I would like to ask this morning is this. The information that you provided this week, as always, has been awesome. And I've really, really, really tried to, or aimed, I should say, to put some things into action. So on Monday and Tuesday, I contacted a few people that, I've already contacted before. I kind of followed up. And I know that they are working jobs that they are not doing, living their best life as a result of it. Maybe even working 2 jobs and not being able to have family time the way they would like. And I considered them, thinking about what you covered on Saturday regarding the red ocean and the blue ocean. I am going back to a previous training where I asked the question, are you married to your job and are you open for information? And the response I did receive was, no, I'm not married to my job. You know how I feel about what I'm doing. And the other answer was, yes, I'm open to information. But what happened was, when providing the opportunity to get the information, which would be through a video or a live, I gave the option of, which is better for you, to watch a video or to tune into a live presentation. But neither of them did that. So, I mean, people say that they...
So who taught you that last part about what would be better for you, a live video or a presentation?
Who taught me that?
Yes, ma'am.
I
was just curious because I wouldn't suggest that.
Just giving options? No? Okay.
No, but I would give the options of, because, and I'm going to do a training on this. Okay, so let me repeat this question for everybody. Share this with an entrepreneur who wants to know, how come after she used some of the words that we trained her on, right? She used some of the language. She was like, hey, are you married to your job or do you keep your options open, right? Really easy thing to do. You can walk up to any employee you run into and you can ask them a simple question like, and you can establish some rapport first. Like, man, these jobs really interfere with our weekend, right? They're going to be like, yeah. And then you're like, let me ask you something. Are you married to this job or do you keep your options open? Can somebody type that in the comments? So first we state a fact. Now, if we want to really increase our rapport, we can state a couple facts in a row. Sometimes you'll walk up and you'll be like, darn, it's hot out here, right? And so that's a fact. You're establishing rapport. You see how that works? Versus if you're like, man, Republicans are stupid, right? Now you're taking a risk. You might establish rapport, you might not, because that's an opinion. You want to start with a fact. So then maybe after that you go into let me just ask you, are you married to your job or do you keep your options open, right? And then they say what Teresa just now said is both times they were like, no, I'm not married to this job. You know how I feel. And then the other person was like, yeah, I keep my options open. And then what she did was she said, well, what would be better for you? A video or a live presentation? Here's the thing about that, y'all. I'm going to do a training on this at some point in the future. But there are 6 different levels of communication. The lowest level is when you're just talking at them, like messages, text messages, stuff like that, right? But then you get to higher levels where you're meeting, where you can see each other, like a Zoom. Then you're getting to higher levels, like a phone. A phone call is a higher level. Then you got Zoom, which is even higher than that because I can hear you and see you. Then you have meeting in person, which is higher than that. And then you have the highest level, which is breaking bread with each other. So what we're not going to do, y'all, is go from a high level of communication to a lower level. That doesn't make sense. So what I teach is at the end of those sentences, we're going to give them 2 choices, but the choices are both going to stay on a high level of communication. So let me break that down in the layman's terms. Teresa, you did that whole thing perfectly. The only thing that you kind of like left a little opportunity for improvement with was the part where we start breaking down what you want to have them do at the point they say, no, I'm not married to this. Yeah, I'm open. Here's what you do, Queen. You say, well, you always want to be in a rush. You always got stuff to do. So you're like, hey, listen, I don't have time to talk now, but let's get together. Like would 7 tonight be better, or would 9? Or would 9 work? So we're giving them 2 choices, but we're not giving them 2 choices of lower levels of communication, so they can sit there and watch a presentation and be bored out their head, right? Or sit there and listen to some high pressure salesman try and just force them into buying something they don't want. No, we're going to keep this thing friend zone. So all we're doing is asking them, would they rather meet tonight or tomorrow? Would they rather meet this afternoon or this evening? But what we're not going to do is send them off to a lower level. Does that make sense, Queen?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I really appreciate that. First question of the day, Miss Teresa Farmer is in the house. I hope that made sense for everybody. If that makes sense, let me see it in the comments. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Are you married to your job? Are you married to this job? I dare you ask a few people this weekend. I dare you ask a few people this weekend. Everybody that's millionaire minded, everybody that's coming out to Communication Pro, I dare you ask this weekend a few people at this hotel, a few people in the restaurant you go eat at. Let me see you build a team in Atlanta, baby. All right. Free Coaching Friday continues. Let me see. I just now saw a question come in. Let me see where we are. Man, Mr. Brown would be so mad at me when I keep saying a placeholder like, we don't do that. Okay. My man Terrence had this question. He was like, what are some good systems for following up with prospects? What are some good systems for following up with prospects? Okay, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. So check it out, y'all. Y'all know, and somebody give me this in the comments. Y'all know my whole philosophy is nobody buys instantly, but they'll all buy eventually. If you follow the system, they'll all buy eventually. So what do we mean by that? What we mean by that, y'all, is that at the end of the day, people aren't buying the product or service. They're buying their trust in you. You got to feel me on this, Terrence. People ain't buying no product or service. They're buying their trust in you. They're buying the person. Do they know, like, and trust this person, right? That's what people are really purchasing. And so with that said, I teach what I call the comfort curve. The comfort curve is powerful because what it does is it converts anybody from prospect to profit. It helps them go from prospect to profit. And the 3 P's of helping them go from prospect to profit, right, is first, you have to have the posture of a friend. So Terrence, what that means, bro, somebody give me that in the comments. P, the first P, posture of a friend. Posture of a friend means that I'm not talking to you as a salesperson. A posture of a friend means what I'm looking to do is become a resource in your life. You see how much easier that is? Oh, now it's going to be a little bit more intentional, but it's a lot easier because if I just come at you about buying something, I'm no different from anybody else that could place an ad, hand you a business card, leave a business card on a little bulletin board at the restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. There's no effort. But when I sit down with a consultation with TJD Financial, and I sit there and you begin to pour into me about things I can do to lower my mortgage, and then you push me to a mortgage broker that you know that can help me get that mortgage down. You tell me how I can save on my finances with my landscaping, and then you send me to a landscaper that's going to give me a discount, right? And then you tell me how by opening up a home-based business, I can save on all these taxes, right? And then you send me to an accountant that can help me handle that. or you send me to somebody that can help me start a home-based business so I can immediately take that instant pay raise, right? And then put that into my life insurance policy, okay? I mean, but what did I just now do, Terrence? Because I'm a friend, because I took the posture of a friend, now I'm becoming more of an icon in your life. So the first P is posture of a friend. Another element of this posture of a friend is how am I? Okay, so that's stuff I can just assume. I can assume you came to me because you want to save money, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because Terrence runs TJD Financial. He's not only a Kaizenite with our academy, brand new member, shouts out to that, but also he sells insurance. And what he's asking is a powerful question for anybody that's listening to my voice right now, anybody that's watching this replay, because we all can look at our pipeline of prospects as a lagging measure of our profits, right? Like I said earlier this week, if your appointment book is empty, then we know soon come your bank account is going to be a little emptier than it should. If your appointment book is full, then we know soon come that bank account going to be full, baby. So when we're looking at this first P of the comfort curve, it's not only the things that we know we can offer to anybody in our niche because we've decided to fall in love with this certain kind of perfect customer for us, but it's also now getting individual with them because nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Posture of a friend then means we got to have some meaningful conversation, Terrence. Share this with an entrepreneur who needs to know this. You need to have a meaningful conversation. So what does that mean? That means you leave knowing what to care about and they leave knowing you care. If nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care, they better leave knowing you care. And you better leave knowing what to care about. Does that make sense? So we're posture of a friend. We're gathering this intelligence. We're giving them ideas and not necessarily in that order. Maybe you're gathering the intelligence first, then you're dropping the ideas. That makes more sense, right? And so boom. Then the second P is personnel file. All my Kaizenites have heard me tell this story before where, my mentor was on a speaking tour. And at one point he was there with George Bush Sr., who's married to Barbara Bush. And he tells this story about how he couldn't believe a couple months later when they meet. He's like, hey, so how's it going with your book? And what's going on with it? He was like, that was amazing. How did you remember all of that? And then Barbara's like, well, first of all, George has cultivated an incredible memory for these things. And then he was like, but second of all, he cheats. The minute he walks away, he takes notes on the person. And then before he attends any event where he may run into the person again, he reviews his notes. Isn't it interesting? And she said, oh, here's the last part of the joke. She said, it comes in handy when, you might want to raise money or you might have a son that wants to run for president. So point I'm making though, isn't it interesting that George Bush, aside from being, I'm not even going to go there about the devil, but also, he was the director of the Central Intelligence Agency. So isn't that interesting? That shows you how important data is, how important making people feel important is, how that can change your life. You get what I mean? So the second P is personnel file. Somebody give me that in the notes. Personnel file. What are you doing to take notes? I was talking a little bit yesterday about this 90-day planner. Everybody that ordered the planners yesterday, yours will go. That portion is right there. You get to just take notes right there. That can start your personnel file, right? You get to write in their names, and you can just take the notes right there. So then when you're going back to the calendar or you fill this bad boy in, and you're like, oh, snap. What I have coming up is a meeting with such and such. You're able to write that thing in there, and then you can review your notes on it when it's time to get there, right? It allows you to organize the system. But the third P is one of the most important. So that first P is posture of a friend, not a salesperson. Second P is personnel file. And then the third P is plug them in. We call this the comfort curve because a lot of people focus on the learning curve, but they don't get it. Learning is the target, not the goal. Now, if I'm an archer and I'm aiming for the bullseye, that's the target. But the goal is to become a better archer. See, when you're looking to educate your clients, that's a target. But the goal is to get them to trust you. The goal is to get them to know, like, and trust you. Education is just one way to get there, but it's not the only way to get there. Am I making sense to somebody? All right. So what I'm telling you is that first P is posture of a friend. The second P is personnel file. And then the third P is plug them in. You have to find a system that allows you to stay in contact with them on a regular basis without trying to sell them something. You got to plug them into something so that you have a way to keep the connection powerful. Even a refrigerator only stays cold for a little while if it ain't plugged in, right? And what we're trying to do, quite the opposite of a fridge, is keep that lead hot. We're trying to keep their buying temperature warm. And to do that, you got to keep it plugged in. Now, one amazing tool you can use for that is this morning call. You know, same way you see everybody shouting out all their business friends. And we're a big family. I don't care. You know, in the mornings I ask, like, hey, shout out your business. Like shout is like, that's the purpose of it. We're providing entrepreneurship. So when you introduce somebody new to the family, and then we bring them into the family, and that's your people, it's kind of like we're now doing the work to keep your lead warm. Now all you do is call in and check in like, man, did you get that referrals blueprint? Or, oh my God, I know you're over here running the dry cleaners, or I know you have that home business you're doing, but did you hear that thing about how to network? Oh my God, did you see that training on the 5 mindsets to use when you feel like quitting? I mean, isn't it hard being an entrepreneur sometimes? And they're like, man, that was good. Now, they don't care if I'm Les Brown or Mo Black. You know what I mean? All they know is that you let them know this dude went from homeless to millionaire. Blase Splee gets up every morning and just teaches for free. And we're going to give you like a whole little system where if you want to use a call for your business, you can. But in general, even if you don't want to use a call and you find some other way, they got prayer hotlines out here. They got all kinds of, you know, you can form a support group of some sort. But you could also just plug them into the system, and that'd be hella easy, maybe. Was that helpful? Was that helpful, TJD? All right. That's right. Posture of a friend, personnel file, and then plug them in. I appreciate that, Mama Hasan. So that's right. The first. All right. So let's get it. Let's keep it going. Looks like we got time for one more before our affirmations. We handled Miss Teresa Farmer, who's talking about why is it that people never go to the last part when she tries to get them to the presentation. And so we answered that. Our second question was, what are some systems for following up with clients, right? Following up with leads. Okay, we went through that. And then the third, now we're waiting on the third question. Who got one for us? Yes, sir.
Strength and honor this morning, Kermit Wingfield. I was locked in by Mr. Darrell Danvers over 3 or so years ago now. I'm in the financial literacy and health and wellness. My question for you this morning is, I wrote it down, so I'm looking at it now, so let me see how I can orchestrate it so it can be very understandable or somewhat understandable. I was looking or listening to Sirius Radio, and one of the commentators who did me give direct sales, MLM. I know we have a category of that might be a diehard that you can't change, but one of their themes was that sounding scripted. And then when you sound scripted, or like you say, you memorize the script or certain things to say, not being able to transition once they start answering you questions and becoming uncomfortable. And my question is that when you start have to focus on 7 steps of the revenue acceleration code, 1 leads, meaningful conversation, so forth. I know I didn't say I'm in the correct order, but how do you deal with that issue, or if that's an issue that a lot of customers have with you talking to them
Absolutely.
about your particular business and things of that nature? Because, like I said, we have a lot, and maybe me, myself also, I refer to myself as I first. I may sound scripted at times when, you're doing the training and things of that nature. And, you tell us certain things to say and how to say them, but sounding scripted. I mean, how do you avoid that issue, or what are your thoughts on that?
Great question, bro.
I've asked this question in the prior, so how you transition from, one facet of your conversation to another. And I just thought it was really coincidental that this person with a big old Sirius XM show had these same concerns and also brought up that same thing.
Yeah, man. So for everybody that couldn't catch his question, Brother Kerman was like, he was listening to a radio show on Sirius XM, and the host was just going in on people that are in direct sales or home-based businesses. Just saying it like he doesn't like how scripted they always sound, and then they can never answer questions when he starts coming with his A-type personality, analyzer, die hard, think he's so smart, holier than thou type questions. Now, he didn't say that, right, Kerman? But we can tell from his attitude.
Oh, hey, I gotta take up for the men. It don't matter, but it's a she.
Okay.
And yeah, she's one of the more famous shows on Sirius XM. So
okay.
It doesn't matter, but yeah, she. And she's always, even though you watch her show for other aspects of it, oh man, she vehemently goes in on MLMs, direct sales for that particular reason.
Yeah.
Even though she'll turn around and advertise with someone and do an advertisement for somebody. But yeah, you got it. That's my question. Keep it short.
Yeah. So first of all, if somebody give me this in the comments. You can't change a mind with a lecture. You can only change minds with stories. You can't change a mind with a lecture. You can only change minds with stories. Facts tell, stories sell. Can somebody give me that in the comments? You can't change a mind with a lecture. You can only change a mind with a story. All right. So one story that you can use to help people understand is this concept that everyone does network marketing already. It's just that they don't get paid for it. Everyone, millionaires, does network marketing already. It's just that they don't get paid for it. And what you can do is share a story that I shared the other day about how you taking your teammate to the mall because she wants to get a business suit. She's just now become a home-based business owner, and she wants to get a purse, right? And so we go up in the purse store, and we're in a rush, and so she's just like, man, I really like this purse right here, but I can't get it until we got some shoes. So I asked the salesman, I'm like, hey man, where can we get some shoes in this mall? He's like, what kind of shoes are you looking for? She's like, oh, some shoes that could go with like a business kind of thing. He's like, oh, you should go to the one right there by the right. And so we go over there and we're in the shoes, et cetera, so forth. And then she's like, well, man, I can't really pick the shoes until I know what kind of outfit. I'm like, man, I asked the salesperson, who in here has some good outfits and whatnot for business presentations, et cetera, so forth, because he's like, for what? It's like, for business presentations. He's like, oh, you need to check out. So then we go over there. She's looking through this so that she can get the shoes, so that she can get the bag. And meanwhile, I get hungry. So I asked the security guard, hey, who around here has some food? He sends me off. I go and get the food. What I want you to understand is that everybody in there did network marketing, but none of them got paid for it. So you have a simple choice, right? Because I agree with you. It's ridiculous that so many people are out here underpaid. But my question is, do we want to keep on going on network marketing for free, right? Or do we want to put ourselves in a position where we can build legacy, where we can create a residual income that makes it so we have more free time for our families? Now, there are a million of these kinds of stories that we can use, right? But the main premise that I want to share with you is that facts tell, stories sell. And people, so that's one part of it. And then the second part of it is just a simple fact that everybody's doing network marketing anyway, whether they realize it or not. You're already recommending your favorite show on Netflix. You're already recommending your favorite restaurant. You're already recommending some book you just read. What you want to do is put yourself in a position where in some way you can every day be putting money, not just in your current bank account, but in your future bank account. That's the power of having a home-based business. That's the power of having a part-time business that you can start. I just saw some statistic. Again, this is another fact. So this may or may not be helpful to anybody, but I just now saw another statistic that was talking about how the average price to start a business in America is about $53,000. By the time you get through with the licenses, the trainings, the leases, most businesses are solo operations, right? But $53,000. You can start a home-based business for $500, $400, $100. So the fact that so many in the establishment rail against it is a fascinating kind of testament to the society that we live in. Because if you go with main society's opinions, you will be obese, you will be miserable, and you will be broke. If you listen to society, if you listen to conventional wisdom, if you follow the crowd, you will keep snacking on everything. You'll be at the you'll be there at the checkout line, and what you'll do is you'll grab the snacks because you don't realize the extra 125 calories every day, changing nothing about your diet, equals 39 pounds in about 3 years. You didn't know that. So you just keep on, but society puts it there for you. They don't even tell you what these calories are doing to your weight and your health and your ability to function as a healthy person in the future for your children and your grandchildren. But then you got the fact that, people also going to be miserable. Nobody's teaching you how to be happier. Nobody's teaching you how to grow yourself so that the environment can't affect you as much. They didn't teach us this in school. They didn't teach us not only nothing about health, but they didn't teach us nothing about happiness, right? And then you have the fact that if you follow society, you're going to be broke because everybody in society is teaching you exactly how to go about blowing the most money you can to impress people who you know the least, right? We're now in social media. Social media is affecting people so much on both sides, the health and the financial side, because with social media, they now have something called filter dysmorphia, where the kids want to look more like their damn filter. So that's messing with the health. But then you have the fact that you keep on scrolling everybody's highlight reel. Nobody's putting up the crap where they look crazy, the crap where they makeup ain't done, the crap that's showing you, oh, they posing in front of this nice house, but they ain't showing you the car, or they got the car, but they ain't showing you where they live, or they showing you their clothes, but they ain't showing you that, right? I mean, it's all everybody, and you're not thinking about that. So what you do is you combine this person's house with this person's car, with this person's watch, with this person's outfit, and you come up with, I must be broke, I must be poor, my life must suck. Because if you're posting on social media, it's only to show I look good, I'm cool, or my life is better than yours. Those are the three things that everybody's posting for, to say, hey, I look good, I'm cool, my life is better than yours, right? And at the end of the day, all of this stuff is designed to rock your world. So what I highly suggest, y'all, is that you understand, and then we're going to go get out of here and do our affirmations. But when you listen to people like that, because I sense on one side, Kerman was asking because he's like, man, what do you say to people like this? But he knows, because he's millionaire minded and he's a Kaizenite, that in every market, you always have three types of customers. You have the diehards that don't give a damn about what you got to say, right? That's when you're battling with somebody and you a Democrat and they a Republican, and now y'all just going back and forth. It don't even matter, right? Or then you have the hagglers, the people who are like, man, I'm successful over here, but what you got? If you'll give me more for less, I come. You can tell you're talking to them because you get into a price war. But then you have the people who are there and they hate it. That's who you're really talking to. But there's another side to this question Kermit threw out. He wasn't just saying it because, dang, how do I talk to these people who are diehards? Because we answered that about you give them stories. Stories change their mind gradually, not instantly all the time, but gradually. They begin to stretch their perspective, right? But the other part is I want to help people bulletproof their philosophy. So this is for Kermit's benefit, and this is for everybody else that's listening. There are 3 different currencies in life, y'all. There are only 3 currencies of life. You got time, you got knowledge, and you got money, right? Time, skills, and money. These are the 3 currencies that are available to any, and I'll do a whole training on this, right? But whichever one of these 3 you don't have, you need the other 2 to get it. The reason why people shake us up sometimes when they give us their opinions is because we aren't standing on strong enough ground. Check it out. Knowledge, time, and money are the 3 currencies that are available to everybody on this planet. Oh, I don't care if you go into the brokest neighborhood, you want to imagine people still getting pizza delivered. They could have bought a same pizza and put it in the oven, but they delivered the pizza. They're tipping the delivery man, hopefully. And then, you know what I mean? And this is the poor neighborhood. You'll still see Jordans. You'll still see iPhones. Can I get a witness? We live in America, baby. We in the first world. Check it out. Everybody got 3 currencies, because I know I ain't got to argue with you about everybody having 24 hours in a day. I know I ain't got to argue about the fact that everybody has the ability to learn something. You learn to drive a car. You learn to put on makeup. You learn to work a laptop, right? Check it out. Knowledge, time, and money are the 3 currencies everybody has. And whichever one you don't have, whichever one you want more of, you got to use the other 2 to get it. Listen to me, y'all. If you don't have
All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
if you don't have enough time, then you need to use your knowledge and your money to buy some time. So if you're rich, a lot of times super successful people, they don't have enough time. So what do? You begin to hire staff, right? You begin to put people in position. You delegate or stagnate. That's the vibes, right? Okay. If you don't have enough money, then you've got to use your knowledge and your time to get more money. You know, some people say, I'm going to get a second job. Some people use their knowledge and say, I'm going to create a second income. But regardless, if you need more money, you're going to have to use your time to get more knowledge that allows you to put more value in the marketplace and then pull more money out. And millionaires, if you need more skills, then you got to use your time and your money to build your skills. Am I making sense? Because to answer Kermit's real question, nobody has the skills for every profession day one. A mechanic doesn't know everything that he needs to know. A physician doesn't know everything she needs to know. A truck driver doesn't know everything he needs to know. You hear what I mean? Every profession needs different skills. When this host is talking about network marketers don't understand the questions, she's talking about poorly trained or novice networkers. She's talking about people who really aren't aware that people are reactive. And therefore, I can give them $100 bills or I can give them insults. But regardless, I got the power. Point I'm making, man, is that every profession has horrible counterparts, right? And participants. There are horrible radio hosts. There are horrible truck drivers. There are horrible teachers. Well, guess what? There are horrible home-based business owners. But I'm going to tell you what I know. Anybody can improve. Millionaires, if you don't have enough knowledge, use your time and use your money to get some. I hope this has been helpful. We're about to take it to affirmations, and then we're going to continue this thing on Clubhouse and on the live line. Millionaires, I love you all. And repeat after me. Let's get it. I am so happy and